good?
Judy.
You'll be up first right after finance. Good deal. Well, welcome everybody. We will call the meeting to order, and I think we'll do it different. Let's do the finance report first. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm ever gonna be. Our year ended March 31st. The operating budget last year was $6,950. At the end of the year, we had $772 remaining for that year's budget. We have $23,813.78 in the bank as of March the 31st. We have budgeted $9,150 for the operating funds for the next year. We are currently in the process of residents making a contribution to the council funds for the operating fund, and it's a contribution, it's not required. To date, we have received $30 each for 144 residents, totaling $44,325. Now that doesn't cover $9,150. We have had a carry forward in the bank that we will probably lean on to the extent that we need that for the coming year. As usual, I do post the treasurer's report on the board in the mail room, and it will be included in my deputy life, respectfully submitted.
Thank you, John. Let's go, since we've got some awards and visitors today, let's go directly to Judy Seitz, who is reporting for John Batsa for the Scholarship Committee, with a couple of good things to talk about. Judy?
I thought I was pretty loud, but this will be better.
I thought John had a training session with you, didn't he?
This will be the monthly report from the Scholarship Committee. We met on April 20th. Is that on?
Yes.
All right, we met on April 20th, and Chuck Lake reported at the month end, we had $98,214 in the fund. There were no new contributions in April and no awards. The committee reviewed the Westminster Tuition Reimbursement Program. The Jack Greenberg Award will be presented to Emma Whitmire at the Residents' Council meeting on April 26th. Today, Emma finished her AA degree at St. John's River Community College and is enrolled as a CNA in our health center. Monica Bermudez was interviewed and the committee awarded her $1,331 to obtain a fitness certification to become a personal trainer with a senior fitness specialization. She now serves as our fitness coordinator. Meeting was adjourned at 11:25. Respectfully submitted, John Batsa, Chairman. So the first award will go to Monica. On behalf of the Scholarship Committee, it gives me pleasure to inform you that thanks to the generosity of the residents of Westminster St. Augustine, you have been awarded $1,331.44 in scholarship to help defray your educational costs for the certified personal trainer award may be used to help pay for any education-related expenses, including excluding room and board, incurred through the NASAM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. Payment to the organization is being made in your name. We wish you well as you continue to pursue your educational objectives.
Wait, don't go away. Just stay right there. We're gonna get a picture. And while we're getting a picture, I'm gonna read a little synopsis that Monica gave me. Fitness events in May. Bowling, kayaking, cornhole, mini golf tournament, karaoke, a trip to Top Golf in Jacksonville. Sounds pretty cool. Pickleball is ongoing. For those of you, we've got 10 or 11 folks playing Friday mornings and Sunday afternoons. So if you have any interest, 8 of the 11 or 12 are brand new players, so there's no particular skill. We prefer you did not have a walker. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I said wrong, but I take it back. Pickleball, a new line dance class for beginners. So check your fitness calendars that Monica's doing a great job. Thank you.
Our second award goes to Emma Whitmire. Come on up, Emma. The Jack Greenberg Award. He was a renowned physician, and he also was chairman of this scholarship committee at one time. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll hang.
Wait just a minute. We need a picture.
Yes. That's right.
Congratulations, Emma.
Thank you.
All right, a couple of brief announcements. We've got a few today. We said this before, but let me repeat again. If you live on a cul-de-sac and you have home health care, please have them park in your driveway. We're ending up with some cul-de-sacs with 2 and 3 cars parked, and if the emergency vehicles come in, it makes it difficult. So if you can get your home health care people to park in your driveway, it'd be good for all of us. The second one has to do with reservations. One from Rocco, which I know he's published. If you have reservations for dinner, please show up a little early, but no later than on time. And a lot of us don't care for the reservation system, myself included, but it works well for the kitchen and it works well for your service. And if you show up 10 minutes late, it kind of pushes everybody else off. So just out of consideration, both for the staff in the dining room and your fellow residents, try and be there on time. If you can't show up, please cancel your reservation. That last also applies to trips. We had a dinner trip last night that was full with 14 people. They were set up with 14 seats at our table, and only 10 people showed up at the bus. Okay, and I know that there were 3 couples on the waiting list who would have been thrilled to go. So if you know, in any of the outings, if you can't make it, make every attempt to let Holly know that you need to cancel. So, alrighty, let's move on to Chapel Committee with Debbie Brinsfield.
first of all, I want to assure everybody that I don't have anything communicable. Mother Nature has been very generous with her pollen this year, and I was the recipient of that. I should be coming into bloom any minute. I would ask the council's indulgence just for a very brief moment of personal reflection. My husband Carol and I moved here in November of 2001, and it didn't take us long to find out what a very special community this was.
Debbie, pick your mic up.
I'm sorry. And it didn't take us long to learn what a very special community this was in terms of the residents and activities. This really came home to me last month when my husband died, and I was the recipient of, I can't tell you how many phone calls, texts, emails, cards and notes and hugs here and on the campus from people, and it just amazed me, all the care and concern. And I always thought I had a pretty good command of the English language since it's my mother tongue, and I read a lot, but I still can't come up with a superlative that I would like to use, just to say that I am very grateful and very appreciative for all of the offers of help and all the concern that you expressed for me. So that's it. So now I will get on with the chapel report. The committee met on Monday, March the 22nd, which is why we didn't have a report last month, because the council meeting was just the day after. The committee is considering 2 worship enhancements for the chapel. A new organ and upgrades to the sound system, with the cost being underwritten by a generous gift from a Westminster St. Augustine resident to the Westminster Foundation's Westminster St. Augustine Chapel Fund. Tanya Alliance will assist the committee with the application process. Chaplain Jean explained that the difference between the Westminster Foundation Westminster St. Augustine Chapel Fund and the Resident Council Chapel Fund is that the Foundation Fund is supported solely through donations of WSA residents and employees to underwrite the cost of major enhancements to the chapel, such as the organ and improved sound system, whereas the Resident Council Chapel Fund is supported by the Resident Council budget for the purchase of small ongoing supplies, such as community wine and wafers, memorial roses, batteries for the candles, altar linens, and seasonal flowers. We are currently borrowing a Rogers organ to use in the chapel at no cost. This organ has the ability to record and play back organ music that has been played on it, as well as having 350 hymns saved in the hymn player section of the organ. Approximate cost to purchase this style of organ is $39,900. This is a digital organ, as there is not enough space in the chapel for a pipe organ. I think we can understand that. We wouldn't want a pipe organ in there. Too much. The committee will vote at the July meeting on purchasing the organ. Chaplain Jean met with Bernie Pacco of CSI Network, Jonathan Green, the Director of Maintenance here, and residents Mike Hoffecker, Jan Larson, and Jim McKinney to discuss the chapel sound system. Recommendations for upgrades are expected to cost $6,000. A motion was made and seconded to recommend the proposal from CSI Network to enhance the sound system in the chapel. The motion passed unanimously. Motion was made, seconded, and unanimously passed to change the name of the chapel committee to the Spiritual Life Committee. This name change more accurately reflects the inclusion of all residents and staff in the spiritual life of WSA. It was also agreed to have committee meetings quarterly. Special meetings can be called as needed. The Jewish Residents Group met on Wednesday, March the 23rd. The meeting centered on plans for Passover. May is Jewish American Heritage Month, and plans are being developed to recognize and celebrate American Jews' achievements and contributions to the United States of America. Activities such as a second tour of Temple Bat Yam, a Great Courses DVD on Judaism, and a PBS film that will be presented on the life of Abraham Joshua Herschel, who was a Polish-born American rabbi and one of the leading Jewish theologians and philosophers of the 20th century. Respectfully submitted, Debbie Bernstein.
Thanks, Debbie. Next up is Steve Russi and the Dining Committee. Anybody see Steve?
No, I'm maybe going to read his report. Maybe.
I meant next up was Jane Blocker.
It's here somewhere. Oh, no.
She's the one who keeps us organized.
Reporting for Steve Rossi. The dining committee met with Chef Luke and
Rocco on April 20th in the dining room. One of the requests that was made was that when a menu item of a popular dish, such as shepherd's pie, is not being made with the standard lamb, that that be delineated for the diners. It should be noted, that may change some of the, proper labeling will help with avoiding complaints and confusion. A lot of time in the meeting was spent discussing the reservations policy, just like Bob. Apparently there are a lot of people who don't like the reservations policy. Rocco's really reluctant to make changes until the effects of having guests can be determined, and that is in the process of happening now. The compromise was reservations will be required for 5:30, 5:45, and 6, as well as for holidays and following events such as play readers that happen at 4:30 performances that are highly attended. Rocco and other dining managers have also requested Orlando to allow the return of the monthly brunch buffet. I know that's exciting. And Debbie indicated in her report there are a number of new items in the kitchen to ensure that meals are served hot, and the equipment includes a new flat top grill, a grill on order, plate warmers, presses for paninis and Cuban sandwiches, and an additional cooler. The cafe continues to gain in popularity, and I'm sure everybody knows about the macaroni salad tasting tomorrow. Staffing continues to be an issue. Still recruiting for a baker, a bartender, and a candlestick maker. Respectfully submitted, Steve Rossi.
Thank you, Jane. I like that. Next up is our Madam Vice President, Sharon Piney Noel, and Health Services.
Thank you. The Health Services Committee met on Wednesday, April 13th. Unfortunately, our health administrator, Misty DeGrosse, and Paula Bell were not able to meet with us. They were in training. There's quite a bit of training going on related to the upcoming memory care unit in the health center, and also Misty, as a new person to this job, is receiving a lot of Westminster training to give her orientation to this new facility. So I will be meeting with her tomorrow, actually, to get her report for this past month. I have told you each month when I've come about the COVID positivity testing rate. We've been celebrating back in March how it dropped to around 1.2% in St. Johns County. I do want to make you aware that even though we are celebrating not having to wear masks here on campus, it is climbing again. The positivity rate this past week was 6.8%. And so it's not climbing quickly, but you should be aware when you're off campus to wear your mask and take precautions because it's climbing. And in the state of Florida, it's climbing even more. I do want to thank those who attended the presentation by it's escaping me, Nancy Melito, about the memory care therapy. It was an excellent presentation. It is available on MyWLife, the PowerPoint, under the Health Center tab. And it's worth printing and taking a look at, or just reading. There will be another educational session this week, April 29th. It is on proton radiation therapy, and it's being given by Bradley Roberts from the University of Florida Proton Institute. He's the Director of Patient Services. It's at 1 o'clock on April 29th. That's Friday, right? Okay, thanks. Okay. And then I was told this morning that there will be another presentation in May called Mimosas and Mental Health. So be looking for that date. That's when it's gonna be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sure, because that's our popular time. So be looking for that presentation. We still need volunteers at the health center. We're running a weekly library hour where you get to knock on every door in assisted living and visit with residents and give them books and magazines and always a snack. And it's a great opportunity for you to meet people and also to do some volunteer activity. Welcome to join us for bingo on Saturdays at 2 o'clock. They have roll and stroll at 10 a.m. every morning over at the health center where the residents take walks around the campus, and it's always good to have a neighbor to walk with. And be looking at the activities that are listed on the MyW Life, because there are always activities that you might want to join. I would like to recognize one of our esteemed residents, and I don't see him. Oh yes, I do. Lloyd Umbarger, would you stand up, please? Stand up, Lloyd. You don't want to stand up? I want to recognize Lloyd because he just retired from the Health Services Committee, and he has done a tremendous job in this area. And lastly, reminding you that they are giving the Moderna second booster this Thursday. If you haven't signed up, please see or call Paula Vale. And that's the Health Services Monthly Report, respectfully submitted. SPN.
Thank you, Sharon. To insert a couple of quick announcements. There will be a Kentucky Derby pool again this year. Bruce Darnell has offered to manage it, and he will be looking for volunteers in the near future. And it's just a straight pool for our entertainment and the enrichment of a select few residents. Next item is, John mentioned it, but the council does rely on the $30 per person annual donation. It's not a requirement, it's not a membership, but we do function on that, and our budget this year is $9,000. We're just a little past halfway there. We're lucky because during COVID, we didn't spend a lot of money, so we do have some carry forward, but it would be nice if you haven't sent us your $30 per person yet. Put the check in the council box by the mail room. We would appreciate that, as would everybody. I've been asked to remind everyone your evacuation and hurricane preparedness forms are due in this week, so please get them filled out, turn them in at the front desk. On the topic of COVID, this morning we had a call with all the other presidents of the communities in Orlando. 2 of our communities have had 50 positive cases in the past 2 weeks. That's the bad news. The good news is, out of 50, only 1 person had to go to the hospital. But the point that Sharon made is the point I think we need to all take personal responsibility for, because clearly our government doesn't think we should wear masks. And I will tell you that when Charlotte and I go out to any place, grocery shopping, wherever, I think a mask only makes sense. It's just not that hard to do. So take care of yourself. Next on the agenda is Bev Siegel is reporting for Ginger Naraki. Bev?
Hello, everyone. Am I on? Okay. First, I'd like to give an announcement that Ginger asked me to make. Ginger has temporarily stepped aside as committee chair due to family circumstances. In the meantime, Bev Siegel and Margaret Kiefer have been designated the library committee co-chairs. But Ginger promises she will return as chair, and I assure you, we can't wait till she gets back. The minutes for the library committee. We met April the 8th, 2022. Beverly Siegel chaired the meeting for Ginger. Attending were Beverly Siegel, Margaret Keeper, Nancy Snyder, Barbara Strauss, Lucy Williamson, Sandy Brockmeyer, Beverly Moran, and Jackie Carpenter is our resident council liaison. Absent were Becky Moncour and Ginger. Beverly Siegel introduced our new member, Beverly Moran, and we welcomed her for our library committee. We then thanked people who had been working in the library, committee members. Barbara, Becky, and Margaret, we thanked for their efforts sending out notices to people with long overdue books. As we hoped, several books have been returned, and this project of weeding out the card file with long-time books will continue. We also thank Sandy for our library signage, which perhaps you've seen in the library. It's very helpful. And we thank Lucy and Nancy for the Rejuvenation Critique, a book theme shelf, which is as you come into the library. And we thank all the residents who have responded so far and are reading these books and telling us whether we should keep them or not. The April theme shelf, also right at the front of the library, is prepared by Lucy this month, and it contains a questionnaire inserted in the book for readers to evaluate and rate the book as they see it. The decision to keep or to not keep the book will relate to a large degree on their reaction to reading the book. The new budget contains $1,700 for the library at Westminster for 2022 and 2023. Suggestions for using this money were discussed, and it was suggested a new bookcase for the puzzle, more space for the library, perhaps a reading room as Westminster expands here on campus. And we'll come up with others, I'm sure, and maybe you can help us. With regard to funds, I suggested mentioned that donations for the library can be made by check through the foundation with a notation on the check only for use for the Westminster St. Augustine Library. Sandy explained that she and Ginger have started the process of cataloging the books in the library. It begins with a spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet will eventually be transferred to a database in order to be searched online by all of you. At some point, Holly will put a link on the library in my W Life for the database. This process is expected to take quite a while, with the hopes of finishing it and we can use it by the end of the year. Lucy will be helping as she has had experience with spreadsheets and database. The next meeting for the library committee is scheduled for May 13th, 2022 at 2:30 in the private dining room. And some of the topics to be discussed are reassignment of duties for all committee members and committee guidelines with the resident council, which hopefully Jackie will explain to us. Respectfully submitted. Thank you.
Thanks, Bev. Next, we're looking at the maintenance committee, and Albie Corcoran is reporting for Gary Livingston.
This is the minutes from the Maintenance Committee, April 22nd. Present was Jonathan Gardine, Toy Ellis, and the members of the committee, and Gary chaired the committee. And our guest was J.R. Sykes, president of HD Turf, who does all our lawn work. He reported that roofs and gutters are now being cleaned in the houses. Balmora drainage is still an issue, and the source has now been confirmed as a large irrigation leak that they are trying to locate. Jonathan reported that the work on apartment 4112 is near completion, and the residents will be returning this week, and I'm happy to say our residents Bob and Toy O'Hara are back. The Green Mile sodding has been approved in the capital budget, and we are awaiting a start date to resod the entire Green Mile. The access control system to support the memory care unit is now being tied into the elevators over at the healthcare center for the memory care unit. Toy reported that window cleaning is in progress in the homes. Mosquito control with St. Johns County is being coordinated, and housekeeping is still actively recruiting for 3 cleaner personnel and 1 floor tech. We'd like to say thank you. Is Clyde Brady here? We'd like to say thank you to Clyde Brady. He has stepped down from the committee after many years of service, and thanked him for all he's done for the maintenance committee. And this is respectfully submitted for Gary Livingston.
Thanks, Albie. Next up is marketing, Brad Redwine.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon. This is all about marketing. Our marketing committee met last Monday at 3 p.m. and the following key points are of interest. This is our first committee report in the new Westminster fiscal year. And there are a few changes within our committee that I would like everyone to know about. First, the new resident biography and picture responsibility has been moved from our committee to the welcoming committee. Now that's the group that puts together the picture and the bio that you see posted, that you receive in your gov aid, you see posted in the mailer. Secondly, Bill Baker, the champion of this resident managed effort, has moved with the process. We will miss Bill with his sage advice and experience, but know that the welcoming committee will benefit, as will the entire Westminster community. As of the 15th of this month, residential living occupancy for both occupied and reserved units stands currently at 99%. There is only 1 apartment that's on the market. There are 8 unoccupied but reserved accommodations scheduled for renovation and occupancy between now and July. Assisted living stands currently at 83% occupied, and the health care is at 77%. All those numbers together brings our total community occupancy to 94%, and that's everything. That is a high number. The WSA waiting list currently has 72 interested parties, and that's up from last month, which was 68, who have signed up to come in when something becomes available. 1 independent home has been removed from the availability status and reserved for apartment building residents who are being impacted by the remediation efforts currently underway. And as you heard, Bob and Toy O'Hare have just moved out of that accommodation back to their regular home, so that's a good thing. Another marketing event was held last Wednesday in Crichton Hall. There were 16 people attending. The theme focused on the financial strength of Westminster Communities of Florida. And it was presented by none other than Hank Keith, the CFO of Westminster. And as you know, if you have ever attended something that he presented, he does a most thorough and convincing job. And will answer any question you have, be it good or bad, or I think I said the ugly last week. He'll answer. There are 2 more marketing events planned for the month of May. One event will be a barbecue held poolside. Currently, there are 30 people who have RSVP'd and are expected to attend that. And the second will be a presentation held in the community of Marsh Creek over on the island. Both events will be highlighting what it's like to live in a life planned community. As I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Finally, it was mentioned earlier in the Maintenance Committee about HD Turf. Most everyone knows that HD Turf is our landscape maintenance provider. What you may not know is that this service provider and Westminster St. Augustine have defined and are executing a unified community landscape plan. What this means is that as new residents occupy their renovated home, most existing landscaping will be replaced with new plantings, which will be specific for the sun-shade patterns around the dwelling. This process will allow the community to achieve a maintenance-friendly, comprehensive landscape aesthetic using a manageable timeline coupled with a managed budget. Thank you. Respectfully submitted, recommendation.
Terrific. As always, thanks, Brad. At this point, I'd like any new residents who have not attended this meeting before to stand, if you would. We have some new residents. I see one. I see a few more. Come on, anybody else? All right, can you, don't sit down. Don't sit down. We want to know who you are. Could I have, what's your name, ma'am, and which unit are you in?
I'm Vivian Harvey, and I'm in Building 1.
Good, thank you, sir.
Daniel Kellogg, 624 Forest.
624, yes. Yeah, we met, actually. Veronica? You're in building 3?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Jerry Wilkie.
Sharon and Jerry will. Good, well, welcome y'all. We're glad you're here. Next on the agenda is, my golly, is Social Committee, Kathy Charlton, Edwina Hutton. It is Edwina.
Social Committee report to Resident Council, April 26th.
Closer to the mic, please.
Comment here, the theme for May is growth, which means how we grow in emotional and mental health and self-care and stress management. Comment here the talk by Dr. Sharon Phillips about mental health. She has been here before and is a counselor in the field and a wonderful speaker. One Day University is back with a video about resilience, which is an important part of Mental Health Month. There will be a very interesting presentation by award-winning author Penny Musco from a book, Lessons from Our National Parks. Getting away and getting out into nature is another avenue to well-being. She will be here in person and bring her books. We will celebrate Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. What a coincidence. Come outside to the Green Mile and enjoy games, treats, and bocce ball. The daddy of all horse racing is, of course, the Kentucky Derby. Ladies, put on your beautiful hats for the hat contest. There will also be music and mint juleps. And there's always a fun party. A special Memorial Day program will feature Father Ken from the Trinity Episcopal Church, followed by readings from a few of our residents. A fairly new resident, John Caramon, will showcase a visual art show that he has put together, and I understand it's quite something to see, so try to make a note to attend. Play Readers Theater will put on a performance in May before taking a hiatus for the summer. Michael Murphy will be here to play his music for cocktail hour, and we'll welcome some new performers, Jim Carmill. Musical dining performers are Kat Braswell, Island Duet, and Steve Chapman. Off-campus events will go to Florida Agricultural Museum in Palm Coast and to the free Romanza concerts. A catalog of Romanza events will be found on the table in the mailroom. 2 dinner outings will be to El Dante Italian Restaurant off Highway 210. For your information, the annual Westminster Art Show will showcase 12 residents from our community. We have many talented people here, and we wish them all well. Don't forget, all the ongoing monthly events they're too numerous for me to mention. But please go to MyW Life for the monthly newsletter, The Explorer, and more information. Respectfully submitted, Kathy Charlton.
Thanks, Edwina. Next up is Mike Hofecker. Next up is Social Justice is Mignon Williams. Let's see. Short and white, tall, black. I don't know how I did that.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is our social justice report for the month of April. As you may remember, our objective is to explore the complex issues, and we did a very exciting one this week in regards to social justice, is that is feeding the underserved. And just to let you know, 1 out of 5 people in St. Johns County are underfed each and every day. 1 out of every 5 persons. So just think about how fortunate we are that we have this wonderful community that provides us with food where we know for other people aren't. And the second part of our session objectives was to answer and to provide questions to erase the cultural game that was provided by our last speaker, Attorney Chris Mosier, who is a lawyer and adjunct professor at Flagler College. So just to give you a little debrief, our meeting was held on April 20th at 4 p.m. 25 of you graciously attended, and the presentation was on feeding the hungry. And that was done by Dr. Arthur Hulbert. He is an educator, inventor, farmer, etc., and has extensive work in both the public health field as well as in his work in community involvement. If you were not here, I would suggest that you check out the documentary that is available on YouTube. It's called Growing for Good, which talks about the efforts of really feeding people in his previous home in St. Louis, Missouri. Then after that, if we had a presentation that included not only viewing the film, but questions and answers, we went to the second part, which was in group settings, tables of 4 people, where we talked about answering questions in regards to race and social justice. And to give you an idea of what one of those questions or 2 of those questions are, what are some specific things affecting race relations in your community? So that was a sample of one of the questions that were asked by the group. Also, the group was asked by Chris and her law students to come up with 5 additional questions that could be added to the deck of cards. So we hope to have her students here next month to join in and be able to share the presentation, because our guest speaker will be none other than Representative Cindy Stevenson from District 17. So please mark your calendars for this important meeting, which I believe will be the last one for social justice for the year, which will be on May 18th, 2022, 4 p.m., right here. See you there.
Thanks, Mignon. Can I ask for Mike now? Mike Hofecker and Flankra.
No.
And I don't know that he's here.
That's my error.
I told you, she organizes us. I'm not sure what's going on. So he's not here. Okay. That's right. She's a judge. If you haven't seen the play readers, you missed it, because she was a great judge. doing a great job today. You know, I've sworn to be out of here by an hour, and we haven't been that in the last 6 months, but today we're going to do it. All right, we're going to open it for questions and comments, and if you would, please say your name and your house number so that we can get it into the minutes up. And I think Bruce is going to run the microphone for us. Thank you.
Bob Coleman, 716. The hurricane evacuation form has already been mentioned. Am I the only one that noticed that on this form for the first year, there's no available choice of being evacuated as part of the WSA group?
I can assure you, you are not the only one. I can guarantee that.
I don't know if there's anything more I can say, but
That came up today in our meeting with Debbie. Even though it was on the form the last 3 years since I moved in, and probably longer for you, Westminster has never guaranteed transportation for healthy, independent living residents. They encourage you to either go together or evacuate yourself to a place of your choosing. That does not apply to, they're working on us to age in place, to stay in our homes, which means technically you're independent living, but we all know we have fellow residents who are independent living, but could not get in a car and drive to a location to take care of themselves. They will attempt to identify those people and support them with transportation and housing. It will not be the hotel in Atlanta that it used to be. For those of you that have been here a long time, they had to evacuate, I don't know how long ago, 10 years ago. You're not serious. He is serious. Jim says it was to the Ritz-Carlton in Atlanta. So it's a new age in their responsibility, and I've researched both the Glenmore contract and our contract, and it certainly does not mention any form of evacuation transportation.
I guess that's just the reality. So I guess the next comment I would make, if that's their attitude, why do they even bother asking these questions about where we're going? Why do they even cater?
I guess it's just Big Brother. I don't know. I answered them, but.
Okay, and then my next subject, which has also already been covered, but I'm just going to add my voice, is I continue to find the reservation dining room system extremely irritating.
Yes, sir. I couldn't agree more.
I suspect that it's probably to some degree helped solve the dining room problem. I also suspect that that's to some degree by discouraging people from even coming in the first place.
Well, I think it's all of the above. I mean, there's no question it makes it more efficient for diners. It makes it more convenient for servers not to have 5 tables show up at the same time. And hopefully, when they're fully staffed, we will go back to open dining like it was before. At least we've knocked off the last 45 minutes worth of reservations.
What does that mean? You can come at that time without making a reservation?
5:30, 5:45, and 6 o'clock require reservations. Anything after that is walk-in.
Or you can come, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You want the microphone back, Bob?
Do I need it?
Bob, I'd like to follow up on your
What's your house number?
608.
And your name?
Come on. I'd like to follow up on your comment earlier about the betting
No,
pool.
that's really for other people. There are
Yeah,
people
Bruce
here.
Darnell, 608 Forest Park, Maine.
Yeah.
My telephone number is.
Social Security.
In search of?
I'd like to follow up on your comment earlier about sponsorship that the residents community is offering for the betting pool for the Kentucky Derby, which, remind you, Kentucky Derby is going to be run next week on the 7th, Saturday the 7th of May. And we are setting up gaming tables, which are, many of you that are residents, obviously not the new residents may not want to know about this, but those of you who have been here for a while, No, we typically set up a table by the dining room, so people coming in to dine can get it, or it's also available from like 2:30 typically to 6:30, so that people coming to get mail will get it as well. We're going to be seeking volunteers. I'm going to be trying to run the operation because I've had some experience back in the past when we were doing fundraising for the scholarship committee. This is going to be just a fun event. All money wagered will come back to those people who are savvy enough or lucky enough to have bet on the win, place, or show horse. As I say, we're going to be setting up the gaming table from May 4th, which is Wednesday, through Saturday, and we'll run it in 2 shifts. I'll be looking for volunteers, and on a table out here, there's a place where you can sign up if you're interested in volunteering. I look forward to your help. Look forward to everybody having a good time. And Holly, as well, she's not here now. I know that they're having a Kentucky Derby party on Friday. I believe 3:30 to 4:30, if I have it right. And we may move the table down to just outside the entrance here when the party is going on to pick up a few extra bucks at that time. So thank you all.
Thanks, Bruce. If you go.
Mr. President, I want to make some special comments, sort of toward the end of our meeting today. I appreciate everyone bearing with me because I want this to be sort of the conclusion today, but I know there's a few others who want to make some comments. I'm Fred Jackson, and when Carla and I arrived...
What's your house number, Fred?
713.
Thank you.
713 Berkshire Terrace. When Carla arrived at Glenmore in 2011, of course Carla calls it Glen No More, there were a lot of activities that caught our attention, one being Dine with Dignity. Dine with Dignity, or Feeding the Homeless. It's run by, or was run by, Admiral Bert Shepard. Is Admiral Shepard with us today? And assisted by Jim McKinney. And this was a wonderful program. And it's a program run by Home Again St. John's. I want you to remember that. Home Again St. John's, whose mission is taking care of the homeless in St. Johns County. And you may have read in the St. Augustine Record that Home Again St. John's has just been approved for a grant of $2.28 million to build facilities and transitional housing on State Road 16. It's been working in the works for 10 straight years, and it's finally been announced. And so you're going to see a new facility in St. Johns County to take care of our homeless. As part of that program, Dine with Dignity serves meals every evening on the corner of Bridge and Granada for our homeless. On weekends at Vickers Park, located at the end of Riberia. And that's where we serve. Our commitment is to serve the 5th Saturday, which means we serve only 5 times a year. But that includes December 31st, and it's a great way to bring in the new year, serving the homeless. I've done it probably about 7 or 8 years. We, at the last count, we served 46,550 meals last year. That's by various churches and community organizations like ourselves. And our team is made up, and you bear with me because I want you to know exactly who's involved in Dine with Dignity. Our team is made up of Ken and Kathy Charlton, Mike and Diane Hofecker, Jolene and Herminio Maturo, Colin and Betty Chisholm, Bob and Carolyn Coleman, Lloyd Umbarger, Jan Larson, Bev Moran, Bruce Bill Baker, Bruce Darnell, Bob Linville, Marty and Shelley Cohen, and Bruce and Barbara Strauss. They don't all show up every time, but we have about 15 of us that go down there. We have to pay for the meal. The meal is not cheap, and it's fairly expensive from my perspective. And so we have a lot of financial people involved. And Rocco and Chief Luke put everything in boxes for us. And so in addition to our team, we have financial supporters. And I wish Luann Sterling was here. Is Luann here? Anyway, she is one of our chief supporters. So I said Luann Sterling, Jake Jacobs, Jim McKinney, Bert Shepard, Rita Allen, Lynn Sunder, Earl Gossett, Marianne and John and Marianne Finn, Babs Tolliver, Edwina Hutton, Bob Ness, Howard Crum, Barbara and Charlie Aiken, John and Nancy Oluski, Leslie Dundor, Hancy Hart, Phil Buck, and there are more. I might have left someone out. The last time that Phil Buck gave me a check, there was a note in there, could Barb and I help? And he said, this project is a winner. We will meet in front of Building 1 at 5:15 this Saturday, April 30th. Proceed to Vickers and serve at 6 o'clock. And I will be stepping down after this service, so that I hope that one of you will take my place as I did for Admiral Shepard a few years ago. Any hands? All right, contact me if you're interested. And if you would, check our poster out in the hallway. It gives you a lot of insight as to what's going on in the homeless community. And I might add, we won Westminster's Best Service Award back in 2019. It says Best Resident Community Service Award for the Westminster Communities. Respectively submitted, Fred Jackson.
Thanks a lot. Fred Jackson has more energy than any 25-year-old that I know. If it is charitable or helping or kicking in or supporting, he is there all the time and every time. So thank you, Fred, for everything. Okay, other questions? Raise your hand.
Judy Sykes, 4312. First, I have a question to start this off. Have any of you had a problem getting through the gate coming back home? Ever?
But I got it in past and now I don't have any trouble.
Okay. Nobody else has ever had a problem coming through the gate? Okay. All right, well, Saturday night, I was trying to come through the gate, not in my own car, in another car. And it was about 12:30.
Hold the mic closer, please.
Oh, I thought I had it close. Okay.
Thank you.
Really close. All right, I can tell now. I can tell the difference. Okay, so it was about 12:30, and I was trying to come through the gate, and with somebody else, and my daughter-in-law, actually, we'd been on a date. So, none of the numbers on the keypad, they would ring, but nobody answered. So, after about 15 minutes of this, the only option was to walk through. And so I did. I wasn't really happy about it. The only living thing I saw was a possum. Fortunately, it wasn't raining or anything like that, but the next morning, I sent an email off to Debbie about it because I would like to have a code to open the gate, or somebody manning the gate. So that's what I told her, and she emailed me back later that night, and she said that she didn't really say anything about what I said, other than she was sorry, and she put it off to maintenance, and she would have them get in touch with me about the keypad and make sure I knew how to do it correctly and that it was working correctly and blah, blah, you know. Well, that wasn't what I asked about. I asked for 24/7 coverage or a code so I can get in. I might go through this again. I've had problems with friends trying to come in and not being able to get anybody using the numbers on the keypad. So what do we do about this? Okay.
I think I see an answer.
In my cell phone, I carry the security number. So if I have a problem, I just call security and they take care of it.
For everyone's information, and if you don't have it, nighttime security should, and I emphasize should, and usually carries a cell phone. And you should have that number.
Okay, I don't have that number. obviously.
It'll be published in the
We
minutes.
will publish it in the minutes.
Okay.
And that phone rings right on the security man's pocket as long as the guy before remembered to charge it. Do we have a female security person now? Yeah. Yeah, we will put it in the minutes. So look for there and put it in your phone.
Do you want it now?
We've got it now, but I don't know that people have pencils and things. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Brenda Sense at 608. Two things. First of all, if you can phone a friend. So if you happen to know if somebody's still up and can call them, they can press 9 to let you in the gate. Or if you have someone else in the car with you that has a cell phone, have them call your number. You can press 9 and the gate will open.
Only if your cell phone is tied in. If your home phone is tied in, it doesn't work.
Oh, see, we don't have a home phone. We
But
only
my
have cell.
suggestion is to tie your cell phone in.
Yeah.
To the gate. That's how I get in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does everybody understand what that was said? If you forward your home phone to your cell phone and you're a 904 number, you can dial your home phone, it'll come to you, you can open the gate.
All right.
Okay, anyway,
Well,
second.
Is anybody getting marketing material from Julington Creek
Yes.
to go
Yes,
get,
we all,
to go
many,
to a
many,
barbecue?
many have.
What is
We're
that?
all going on the bus.
Are
We're
we?
going to the barbecue.
Yeah.
Just sign up for the bus.
It's gonna be a party.
75 of us going.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? No.
No, we asked that question today, and apparently Marketing Orlando has changed the provider of their prospective residents, and that's why all these have popped up. I also got one to come to one here.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
good. Any other questions or thoughts? Chuck, over here.
Thank you, Bob. Just a brief comment. On Friday evening, there's a bluegrass music presentation. And a brochure out here in the hallway says it's at the pool.
Yes.
Now, do we have to provide our own seating arrangements, like chairs or anything during that time?
Molly's saying no.
I heard that it was moved to the circle in front of the clubhouse.
Oh, is that true?
I don't know. Holly, it's at the pool. It will be at the pool. And is it BYO chair? She says no, the chairs will be the ones at the pool side, so they'll be available.
Thank
Good.
you.
Good questions, yeah, thank you.
Hi, Karen Delback, 4308. I was just asking a question again about if they tried to evacuate us, and we didn't go, what would happen? Because when we lived in Palm Coast, we had mandatory evacuation because of our location. And, we tried that, and I will never do that again. And so I'm just wondering, I mean, I can drive, my husband can drive, not long distances, but the closest relative is in Georgia, and usually they end up getting the same hurricane. That happened to us once.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to do? Is this an Orlando thing, or?
It has been apparently a Westminster policy forever. We just weren't aware of it, and the forms that they've given us the last 3 years were from the prior administration, so it had that question on it. I can't answer it. The thing is, if you are in extremis, they will take care of you. If you're healthy and living on your own, you're on your own. My evacuation address is in Nashville, Tennessee. But, because I figured I have friends closer, but they're going to have the same problem. The good news is, in all its existence, they have never evacuated from this property.
That's good news.
That is good news, yeah. So, back, Bruce?
Bruce
Bruce.
Wells, 617.
No.
617.
You mentioned if your cell phone is tied in.
No, I mentioned I forwarded my home phone to my cell phone.
Okay. I still don't, would somebody publish the procedure? I don't quite understand yet. Thank you.
Okay. All right, how we doing? They've blown away my hour. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. Any other questions, comments, concerns? The Romanza Festival starts the 29th and runs through the weekend. For those of you that don't know.
10 days.
10 days. Kathy Vandenberg is a principal in putting that together. There's tremendous music, a lot of events. I haven't been myself, but I'm told it's a terrific downtown event. There is bus transportation on Saturday night from here you can sign up for. You can't see who that is. Joyce.
I'll do it without a microphone if you
No,
want.
I'm coming.
Okay, thanks.
He was already putting it away.
Okay, we moved in a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half. At that time, we received a 3-ring notebook with a bunch of information. That has not been updated, and we have not received new pages with new information. And I don't know who's in charge of that, but I'd like to suggest that somebody take a look at it to see what's missing. For example, there are probably a lot of what-ifs, such as, I can't get in the gate. What happens if I'm away and my air conditioner dies? What do I do if a neighbor calls me and they're having trouble? What if my smoke alarm goes off in the middle of the night and nobody responds because I have COVID? What if, what if, what if? And I think as we all live here, as the staff changes, we haven't received a page that talks about who the new administrators are, who the new staff is, who do you contact in either the health services or whatever. And I'm just suggesting that somebody look at it to be updated.
Thank you, Joyce. The welcoming committee has updated that notebook for new residents, but you're exactly right. It would be helpful to look at it for what current residents might need. Obviously, some of that information comes out on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and I guess someone could expect us to take that and insert it in our notebook, but we know that doesn't happen, so I'll share that with Lynn. Thank you very much.
And interesting that you bring that up, because on my list of things to talk to Debbie about in the next week or two is a staffing column in the monthly newsletter. Staff who've left, staff who've come, which will give us some idea of replacements. Yes.
My understanding from talking to Jonathan is that those of us who only have a cell phone, there is a system whereby our cell phone can be put in to the, and will affect the opening of the gate. And I would like, he said, oh, I said I'd have to come to you. He says, well, okay. But I think there should be some written instructions to all of us how to use our cell phone to open the gate.
Actually, the new
That's cool. It works for some people.
the new resident handbook that they're giving new people has a full page on how to do just that. I haven't read it. I don't know that it addresses cell phones, but it does. Yeah, I talked to Lynn Sumner. Because it's the welcoming committee that does it. Lee.
Yeah, Lee McLaurin, 2210. I would suggest that everyone get this 3-ring binder.
I would.
I don't have one.
I would too.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, there's important information that is changing, that's one thing, but we should all have one.
So you didn't get a resident handbook?
I've been
when you
here
moved
2
in?
years.
You didn't get a resident handbook?
No, no,
Really?
yes. I think the ones that got it are within a year. I never got a 3-ring binder.
No, the 3-ring binder's new. They have just put that together.
Okay, then that's what I suggest everyone get.
You want to talk to Lynn about that? We will bring that up. It is the welcoming committee that manages it, and we will bring it up. I think it's a good idea. I really do. Yeah. Okie dokie. Huh? Cece tells me that's enough questions. And I always do what Cece says. Unlike Peter. Anyway, thank you all for coming. We'll see you next month.